Kourtney Kardashian, like most mothers, is having a hard time dealing with her son's teenage years, and she blames Scott Disick for making things more difficult for her. Apparently, Mason has been distancing himself from her, which is unusual for a 14-year-old faking his identity, but she believes Scott is intentionally encouraging a rift. Welcome to America Update. If you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notifications bell, so you don't miss out on any of our upcoming America updates. All started when Mason decided to skip a trip with Kourtney and Travis Barker to stay with his father, and while the reality TV star doesn't agree with a lot of Scott's decisions, she said on an episode of the Kardashians that she was determined to respect her son's wishes. Kourtney Kardashian has had a tough time recently, dealing with her son's heartbreaking decision to stay with Scott Disick long-term. Mason's now made the decision to no longer live with Kourtney, an insider said. She's sad about it. Kourtney doesn't want to pressure her son or feel guilty, but she believes he is influenced by his father. While Kourtney gives Mason space to process his feelings, she ultimately blames Scott. Kourtney blames him because she thinks Scott is forcing her to act like a strict and annoying parent, and that's what's driving him away from her. Scott is always trying to be the cool dad, the source continued. The kids can get all the sugar and junk food they want at his house, and they can stay up as late as they want and watch whatever they want. He buys them anything they ask for. It's no surprise they all love going to his house. They love their dad, but it helps that it's free for everyone while they're there. Not long ago, Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker, along with their kids, took a trip to Australia, and while they had a great time, it was a little sad that Kourtney's son Mason decided to stay in California with Scott Disick. Mason is at home with his dad, Kourtney explained in a confessional on an episode of the Kardashians. Which makes me really sad, but I'm making the most of every second. She let Mason stay without protest because she wanted her wishes respected and knew it would be better in the long run not to strangle him, an insider said. People have told her that this is just a normal part of life and that Mason will come back to her once he finds his own identity, but it still hurts. Kourtney is trying her best to accept that Mason would rather be with Scott now. She says it's because he's a teenage boy who needs his father, but it's not easy. The source explained that Travis caused some tension between Kourtney's children because they were always hoping that she would eventually return to Scott. Of course, the kids were hoping that Kourtney and Scott would eventually get back together. It was very hard for them to understand that Kourtney wouldn't end up with their father. For now, Kourtney is taking the approach of respecting her son's boundaries, even when he hurts her, with the hope that he will eventually come back to her.